This morning, multiple sources tell CNN that Melania Trump is unlikely to move back into the White House full-time in January. So what does this mean exactly? With us now, CNN senior White House producer Betsy Klein. Great to see you this morning. What are you learning on this front, Betsy?
Well, John, Melania Trump spent her first 4 years in office showing a willingness to buck tradition, and she is laying an early marker here that this time around will be no different. And we're seeing that just today as she is expected to skip that meeting customary with First Lady Jill Biden as their husbands meet in the Oval Office. And sources are saying that that is because of a prior scheduling commitment related to her book. But we are also learning, as you mentioned, John, our colleague Kristen Holmes and I report that she is unlikely to move to Washington full time in January when President Trump takes office. And that is because she is going to likely be splitting her time between Palm Beach, where Mar-a-Lago is, and New York, where Barron Trump is in college. Now, those same sources tell us that she is likely to be at the White House for major events, and she will develop her own platform and priorities.
Is this going to be like a long-distance marriage or a part-time first ladyship? I mean, I know that Melania Trump, and you've covered her for a long time, it handles all this in a pretty non-traditional way.
Well, certainly. And, it is unprecedented for a first lady to not live full time at the White House, but it shouldn't be a surprise to any longtime observers of Melania Trump. And her preference is not to be publicly involved. And internally among the Trump team, sources say that they're okay with that. There is not a lot of internal backlash there. And we've also learned that she's really telegraphed this over the past few years. It's really taking a much less active role in this campaign compared to 2016 and 2020. She only was on hand for the announcement back in 2022, and she was on stage at Madison Square Garden a couple of weeks ago and on stage with family on election night. That's it. But make no mistake, Melania Trump is a constant voice in her husband's ear, giving him advice. There is this sort of misconception that she is the secret resistance during the first 4 years. That is not the case. She is incredibly aligned with her husband.
All right, Betsy Klein, great to see you this morning. Thank you very much.
Donald Trump is arriving back in Washington as Republicans on Capitol Hill are getting ready to vote on new leadership. First on Trump's schedule, he's expected to meet with House Republicans before their leadership vote. You're looking right now at live pictures. Joint Base Andrews, that's Trump's plane very clearly, landing there, and then he'll be heading into D.C. So we'll be tracking his movements there. He'll be heading to Capitol Hill, and Republicans in the Senate are getting ready to usher in a new era. For the first time in 18 years, Mitch McConnell will not be the man leading the charge. The race to be the new Republican Senate leader is down to three. You see them right there. Senator John Thune, Senator Rick Scott, Senator John Cornyn. In the midst of all of this, Donald Trump is also going to be heading to the White House to sit down at the invitation with President Biden. As is tradition, the outgoing president inviting the incoming president to sit for this private meeting. CNN's MJ Lee is at the White House. Let's get to it. MJ, what do you think? What are you hearing is kind of President Biden's mindset or expectation or goal going into this meeting?
Well, certainly, Kate, the image that we are about to see here at the White House in just a matter of hours is going to be a pretty remarkable one. President Biden inviting his predecessor and the incoming president, Donald Trump, back to the White House 4 years after Donald Trump declined to extend that same courtesy to then incoming President Joe Biden. It's clear that President Biden and the officials that are working for him are very set on sending the message to the country that this election was fair and that there now needs to be a focus on a peaceful transfer of power. It is also just going to be a rare opportunity and perhaps the only opportunity for President Biden to press some issues that are important to him to the incoming president. For example, we've heard National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan saying that he is set on talking to the incoming president about the importance of the U.S. continuing to support Ukraine's war efforts. We, of course, don't know what effect, if any, those kinds of pleas will have on the incoming president. As for the mood here, Kate, at the White House, obviously this comes at a moment when emotions are running high. A lot of White House staff, aides who work for the president, were very much disappointed and stunned for some by the election results. They are still processing that. But according to the folks in the building here that I have talked to, they are trying to basically take their cues from President Biden, who, again, has made clear that he is focused on the business of the peaceful transfer of power. So some of the folks I've talked to, they're saying that they are set on treating this as any other busy day here at the White House. Now, as for the president himself, we actually haven't seen him very much out in public since Election Day. And I am told by one senior Democrat that he is quite sensitive to and aware of the finger pointing that is going on and the fact that he is actually getting a lot of the blame for what happened last week, and that he is not happy about that, and he doesn't think that that criticism has been fair. Kate.
At the same time, as we said, the President Biden extending this invitation to meet at the White House with the president-elect, as is tradition. Also, as tradition is the First Lady extending the same invitation for the incoming First Lady. And it had been something of a question and doubtful. And just this morning, we now are getting confirmation that the incoming First Lady Melania Trump will not be meeting with Joe Biden.
That's right. As was the expectation, we've just gotten the confirmation from the former First Lady's office that she will not be joining Donald Trump for this visit to the White House. Here's what the office said in a tweet. They said Mrs. Trump will not be attending today's meeting at the White House. Her husband's return to the Oval Office to commence the transition process is encouraging, and she wishes him great success. As you said, the First Lady had extended this invitation, but there had been some talk of a scheduling conflict. This decision today for Melania Trump to not join her husband at this White House visit could be emblematic of some bigger dynamics that could be coming as the First Lady returns to the White House a second time. Our colleagues have reported that she could be spending a good amount of time actually in New York City and Palm Beach, and that actually she may not even be moving to Washington, D.C. full time. This, of course, could end up affecting where Donald Trump spends his time on the weekends, for example. This was something that we saw during the first term, and not so different from how the Bidens have spent a lot of time on the weekends in Rehoboth or Wilmington. So, again, I think this is just one more reminder of a way in which we fully expect the Trump presidency to, in many ways, be not traditional.